live on our stage until then. And one thing you saw this morning at the Xbox briefing was indie games, and lots of great indie titles. That's the idea of a small developer being able to make it big here at E3. Later tonight, we'll have Sean Murray from No Man's Sky by. I've worked with him over the past few years with his game, No Man's Sky, that we revealed a few years ago, and he's got some amazing new footage to share of that. But right now, we're going to talk about another indie game. Here's the lead designer, Forrest Dowling, with a world premiere deep dive into Flame in the Flood. Forrest, great to have you with us. I got to see this game a few weeks ago, and your team, a lot of them are from Irrational Games that came out of the BioShock team, and this is a beautiful-looking game, but has some really interesting gameplay to it. So tell us a bit about Flame in the Flood for people that haven't seen it.
So it is a survival game, like at its core. It's sort of built on the idea of real-world survival, and you play as a girl with her dog, and you have a raft, and you're traveling down this procedurally generated river.
Right.
And really the goal is to just survive, but in like a really grounded real-world sense, which is really important to us. So you're doing things like you're evading predators, you need to craft traps, you need to hunt prey, and you need to just constantly keep moving.
Right.
So it's kind of like there's not really fantasy elements or anything like that. We're looking at a lot of sort of real-world examples of survival and survival games,
right?
And actually like survival guidebooks and whatnot.
Oh, wow.
So that's what it's sort of built on. Like everything's. The intent is to be really grounded, but to combine it with a really, like a more interesting art style.
She's a dog, just like so many games now, I feel.
Yeah,
like. The Fallout dog. We had that Inafune dog this morning.
I know. Well, we're dog people.
I think it's the year of the dog. Jackie was asking about buzzwords. I think it's all about dogs. But.
Yeah. Well, the team, we're mostly dog owners, and we love dogs. So I mean, I would just love to have an excuse to put a dog in the game.
All right. Well, hey, nothing wrong with that. As long as the AI works well, which it does. And the great thing now about indie games, when I look at this, and it's just so visually beautiful, what you guys have put together with this in terms of the look of it. So tell me, I mean, as you're kind of exploring here, you're opening your inventory, you're kind of looking around. I mean, what are you adventuring for? What are you seeking out?
That's something that sort of gets revealed over the course of the game as you play it. Like as you saw, we're seeing this right from the very beginning of the game now, where you start at this camp and this dog shows up with this bag and you meet him and there's this radio in a bag and there's no signal. Like you can't really figure it out.
Water.
Yeah, you can drink that. There's a really
suspicious.
good.
I'm not sure if we should.
Yeah, so you know, like I said, we're coming from real world survival, and you can drink standing water out in the wilderness. Like that's fine, but it's highly inadvisable. So if you do drink that, there's a good chance you'll get dysentery, which will actually dehydrate you worse, and then you need to treat it. So you might need to find penicillin at an old, like an old vet or something like that.
So there's very much an adventuring aspect to this, of kind of collecting items, going, sort of side quests to go off and do things. As
Absolutely. You're always sort of, you always need to like collect the things in the wilderness that are going to help you, and use those to survive. So like some of the stuff gathered up there, like there's a bunch of cattails where you start, which is like actually a really useful survival tool, because you can like take the heads and fluff them up to start a fire, or you can pack your clothing with them to stay warm, you can eat the roots of them, and you can braid them into cords, which you can use to build things like snares and traps.
I know, there's some great rafting here, and I imagine as you go on in the game, your raft gets better and better. And
Yep. Over the course of the game, you can craft upgrades for your raft. As you crash, it'll get damaged, and you can repair it. If it gets completely damaged, you're just going to drown in the river, so you got to keep care of it. This is like the very first Rapids experience, so it starts pretty low-key and pretty easy, and gets a lot harder as the game goes on and as the river speeds up.
Wow, well, it's absolutely beautiful to see what you guys have been able to put together. How big is the team?
There's 6 of us.
See, that's what I love about this industry. It's like we can go from the crazy Call of Duties and Halos of the world down to 6 people in Boston making a game like this and making it, something that looks this beautiful. So where is this game at in development?
Right now, we are, I would say, like in the beta state mostly. There's a lot of features that we still need to bring online.
Right.
We are going to be we're actually coming out for our Kickstarter backers very, very soon.
Okay.
So they're going to be like the first people playing it and getting a look at it. And then we're going to be continuing to develop it, of course, as we go. It's sort of weird, like some areas are like beta complete, and then there's still some features that we're working on that don't exist yet. And there's ones that we don't even know what they're going to be yet. Like I've got a long list of things I want to do, but I'm really interested to see when people start playing it, what they react to and what they like and what they want to see and stuff that's not working for them. And we have enough room in our schedule now that we can be flexible and sort of change the game based on you know feedback and what people like or don't like about it.
That's right. I forgot to mention it was a Kickstarter game. I remember
Yeah,
a year ago.
yeah.
That Story and Game Informer did the Kickstarter, successfully funded, and rightfully so. It looks really cool, and I love just the music and vibe of it. So, Forrest, thank you for coming by to give us a sneak peek at Famous